Hey everyone, it's Mare with SickMom, checking in for day 21. Woo woo! Let's do a little dance. We made it to 3 weeks. We made it to 3 weeks. Yes, we did. It's kind of unbelievable to me that it's been 3 weeks already. It doesn't feel like 3 weeks. It's gone by really quickly, and I just want to thank you all for following me along so far. I've had a really good day. It didn't exactly start out that way. And so let's just have a quick recap of the day, and then we'll recap the last week. Got up this morning to take my daughter to the bus for school, and then came home and went back to bed. I have times where the only way to describe it is it feels like my spine is on fire. And when I have that sensation, there's not much I can do other than just lie down and rest and hope that it passes. And of course, I do have pain medication that is available to me, and that does help. But rest is still a really, really important part of my self-care, and making sure that I'm not trying to overdo it. And we've already talked this week about how maybe there's been times I've done a little bit too much and was a bit worse for wear the next day. So after I had a good long rest, I got up. I had some errands to run this afternoon and coffee with a friend of mine, and then it was, straight back to pick up my daughter from the bus at the end of the day. So the daytime passed quite quickly. And after I had kind of gotten going a little bit, I was feeling okay. I didn't have to medicate very heavily today, so the rest did its job. And that's always a good thing for me. I've spent a lot of time in the last few years quite heavily medicated with pain meds because of just the conditions that I have and how unpredictable they are. But at the moment, things seem to be, I'm not going to say stabilizing. I'm going to say that, we're seeing a gradual upward trend, that perhaps the pain's not necessarily lasting all day anymore. And I find that once I am kind of up and moving, that I'm a lot more with it. I was even having a conversation with someone the other day, and, it was noticeable that I'm able to gather my thoughts a little bit better, and I'm not searching for words as much. And that is something that I completely welcome back into my life. I have found it very difficult to deal with brain fog and to deal with issues of mental clarity. And some of it are the prescription meds that I have that can cause a little bit of that. Some of the meds that I have actually help to alleviate that. And those didn't come into my life until a little bit, down the road on that journey. So the first year and a half of having massive brain fog was really hard. I have been speaking in public from a very, very early age, and I have always, I've always prided myself on being well-spoken. I really find that when, like right now, for instance, when I start searching for the words, or it's like the word is there and then it's gone. And the thoughts just flee from my head like a house on fire. And I either have to wait for them to come back, or, let's just move on. Women might associate this a lot with baby brain, because that's kind of what baby brain is like when you're pregnant and you can't hold a thought in your head for like longer than 5 seconds, and then you're on to the next thought, like either I'm hungry, I have to go to the bathroom, or God, I need a nap. So brain fog can be a lot like that, except there's really not much that I can do to predict when it's going to hit, and I'm just happy that the fog is kind of lifting. So overall, it was a really good week. I mean, looking at from last Monday to this Monday, sure, I've had some pain. I've had some pain insomnia, which is a whole other subject to get into. And I find that my quality of life is starting to get a bit better. I feel like I'm actually interested in doing things. And I shouldn't say interested. I didn't lose there wasn't a lack of interest in doing things. It was just knowing that the energy output required was so enormous on the limited reserves of energy that I had, that it, there were a lot of things that were just out of the question because it's just too much. If I were to do, if I started exercising at the wrong point in my recovery of these illnesses or dealing with the flares that I have whenever they show up and I'm exercising, that can actually make me worse. So going out for a walk on a day where I'm already feeling like garbage, that doesn't work for me. This isn't that, I'm feeling funky and that I'm feeling unmotivated or I'm feeling lazy. There is such a thing as exercise intolerance. And coming from someone who has been athletic for most of her life, that it's very hard to come to terms with that when you're first confronted with it. So it's taken a lot of work for me to be okay with the fact that what I used to love doing in my spare time and to relax actually could make me worse. And the more I tried to push, the worse my health got, or the worse I felt, or the worse my pain would be, or the inflammation. But now I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to perhaps taking up some of those activities again and some of the sports that I liked in a very limited capacity. And it's patience. Patience for me is a big thing. I have to be patient with my body and follow the cues. It's just like adapting to the hunger cues that I am now starting to recognize a lot more with Carnivore. So, Carnivore really just kind of fits in with my mindset as well, of being very mindful of what's happening in my body and being conscious of how I'm feeling throughout the day, and to not beat myself up about it. I mean, if you are going through chronic illness or if you're recovering from an injury, just be kind to yourself, be kind and gentle, and know that, you just have to adapt to your new normal. And there's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of grieving that goes on. There's a lot of sorting through your own head garbage. And, I've talked about that in a few spots here and there in past videos, but getting your mind clear on what your goal is. And my goal is to be as healthy as I possibly can for me, not based on anybody else. But that I think is a very good goal, because it's not about what other people are doing anymore, and it's not about feeling like I'm missing out because I have, so many of my friends that have just, they've continued on with their lives and they've pursued, physical activities and sports that I just haven't been able to participate in. And, for me, I live vicariously through those people. I love hearing their stories of, how they triumphed over a 5K or a 10K, or they've just developed, a new habit of going to the gym and that they've really stuck with it. And I applaud those people and I'm here to cheer them on. I've been at every stage of, from a beginner to an expert in various fields and in various sports, I guess. So I always try and remember the beginner mindset. And where I'm at now is I have to treat myself like a beginner because I'm starting all over. It's not like I didn't go to the gym for 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years even. It's been like 5 years since I've really been able to work out. And that is a really long time for me to not have been able to really, there was a point in my life where physio was too much. I had to look at my physiotherapist and just say, no, I can't do this. It's just too much. And we both agreed at that point that it was too much, because if it was wearing me out to do physio, and that I would leave physio in worse shape than I got there, and some days I was barely arriving, that it was just, you know, like, let's respect the timing. And if physio is an avenue that I want to pursue again, then that's always open. But the issues that I had gone to physio for were somewhat resolved with, you know, other therapies like massage therapy, or, you know, going for acupuncture, or going to see a manual osteopath. So this past week, just to kind of sum up as well, is when I've really started to see some changes in my body, that I've started seeing changes in my skin, you know, some bad, some mostly good, but I've expected all of this. It's not out of the ordinary, and it's kind of a normal part of the process to have these little bumps in the road, or bumps on my skin, perhaps. I'm also just living in this space of gratitude right now, because I am feeling clearer, and I'm able to do more mentally, which is helping me start looking forward to running a business again, but doing that on my own terms. You know, I think a lot of people have different ideas of what it looks like to be an entrepreneur, and there are many different definitions out there. And just different people, they have to find what works for them. And whenever I've tried to work based on somebody else's idea of what entrepreneurship looks like, it hasn't worked for me. And that's because I wasn't following my own intuition. And so it's the same thing with Carnivore. I'm following my intuition on this. I'm following my intuition with my hunger cues and how I'm feeling, and that I think that this could be right for me. But that's what works for me. That might not be what works for you, and that's okay. There's no reason why we all have to be the same. In fact, life would be pretty boring if we all were the same. So I'm quite thankful for my differences, and that I have really great people in my life. But I've also tried to improve myself as a human being, to try and be the best human that I can be. And I think that like attracts like. So the more you elevate yourself, and that you elevate your mindset, and you put yourself in the position of being grateful for what you have, and having people in your life that you are, you know, you're committed to the friendships, and that you're invested in their well-being, not attached and taking things on that don't belong to you, but just wanting to see people succeed and wanting to see them do well. That's a great space to be in, and that is the foundation for an excellent community. And that's what I am committed to, is building a really strong community around myself that will then wrap itself around those people that are a part of it. Yeah, just a happy day. I mean, it was a big day. Registering my daughter for junior high today was a real head trip, but also a celebration. And being with one of the other moms, and, you know, talking about that, and we really took a few moments out for ourselves to just kind of say, hey, we made it this far. This is a really big milestone for our kids. And I feel like I am so much more present because of the mental clarity that I'm starting to have. And as time goes on, we'll see whether it was one thing or another that contributed to that. But I am really starting to lean towards saying, yeah, this carnivore thing is really starting to impact my life positively. And I'm just going with that. So anyhow, if you have been enjoying this journey, I would just love it if you would give us a big thumbs up. and also subscribe to my channel. Just so thankful that you are coming along and watching, whether it is right after this video gets recorded or in 2 years' time, it doesn't matter. I'm recording this so that I have documentation of my journey, so that I can see the differences. Oh, and one more quick note. I have quite a lot of photographs, you know, just selfies and snapshots and stuff with friends. And I actually saw some photos today from when I was on set of a film in November, and I commented after seeing the photo, I was like, wow, do I look tired? And I'll create a video talking about what it's like being an actor and what you have to, you know, be prepared for, and that, you know, a lot of the time, yeah, it's almost no makeup. And if you know that you're going to be portraying somebody that, you know, is not all glammed out, it would be inappropriate to show up in a lot of makeup. So the day that that photo was taken, really not a lot of makeup. And it was a speaking role as well, and it was just a great day on set. But looking back at that photo, I already see differences in my body. I see differences in my face. I see how, you know, we were talking about the bags under my eyes that are starting to go away now, and that the dark circles aren't nearly as bruise-like as they were before. These are all positive things. It's shown me how far I've come. So whatever journey you're on, don't forget to document it, because once the moment is past, you can't go back in time and take that picture. So just do it now. Capture it and take it with you. So this is SickMom, checking out.